Thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Edison Tokika, and I'm the Chief Deputy for the Harris County Sheriff's Office. We're here today to announce the results of a month-long sting operation targeting predators who seek illegal pay for sex. This undercover operation was conducted in collaboration with the National John Suppression Initiative based out of Cook County, Illinois. Nationally, approximately 638 sex buyers were arrested during this operation. 103 of those were arrested right here by members of the Harris County Sheriff's Office Vice Unit. We're proud to announce that Harris County arrested more Johns than any of the 30-plus local law enforcement agencies that participated in this national initiative. At this time, we are disturbed that the demand for illegal sex trade remains strong in Harris County, despite sting operations such as the one we just conducted. Our deputies place ads on websites that are known to be frequented by those to buy sex. We sat back and waited for the phones to ring and text messages to come in. When the callers said they wanted to meet in person so they could pay for sex, our undercover deputies were waiting in 9 hotels throughout Harris County. 103 sexual predators offered our deputies money for sex, and that's when they were arrested. I'm grateful to the Harris County District Attorney's Office for their support in this operation and for their commitment in prosecuting these predators. Members of the team who conducted this operation include Major Tony Wynn, who heads up our Criminal Investigations Bureau, Captain Jesse Inocencio, Lieutenant Ruben Diaz, and Sergeant Sandra Chapa. Thanks to you and your team for this successful operation. The women caught in this human trafficking web are victims and not criminals, and that's something that we really need to focus on. That they're trapped in this, and it's not something they want to do, and that's what makes them victims and not criminals. That's something we can't lose sight of. This is why we've shifted our focus of our Vice Unit away from arresting human trafficking victims and towards the Johns who take advantage of them. In 2014, we arrested 146 illegal sex buyers. In 2017, that number nearly tripled to 433. The Harris County Sheriff's Office will continue to partner with many organizations that work with these women to help them escape their abusers and get their lives back on track. Some of those groups are here with us today, and I want to thank them for partnering with us. Thank you. I want to also encourage any of the women who are out there who are being victimized by human traffickers to come forward so that we can get you the help that you need. I'd like to now introduce and invite to the podium Major Wynn to discuss the efforts that the Harris County Sheriff's Office has in place to combat human trafficking.
Thank you, Chief. Good morning. My name is Tony Huynh. I'm a major over the Criminal Investigations Bureau. I appreciate you all for being here this morning. I just want to share with you all how committed we are at the Harris County Sheriff's Office, taking a proactive approach in working, investigating human trafficking. And obviously, we can't do that alone. We have great partners, whether local law enforcement or local partners within the community. We work very closely with the Houston Police Department on a task force. We're part of the Human Trafficking Rescue Alliance, HTRA, and we work with the task force on a daily basis. We have dedicated staff assigned to the task force and continuously work on a proactive approach on going after all these traffickers. I'm going to turn over to Captain Inocencio, who was chief over the operation. He was the head over the operation that we had over the last month. So with that, I'll turn over to Captain.
Hello, good morning. I'm Captain Jesse Inocencio, the Vice and Narcotics Commander. I'm going to talk a little bit about the operation. We conducted a month-long operation in January in conjunction with the National John Suppression Initiative that we just talked about on that. What we did was a reverse prostitution sting. And what this is our undercover female investigators posed as prostitutes. They place ads in social media sites, whereas these defendants behind me on the wall here contacted our undercover officers and met with them and agreed to have sex for money. As a result, we arrested 103 of them. All of these individuals were charged with prostitution. Some had additional charges because they brought drugs to the encounter, such as cocaine, methamphetamine, marijuana. We arrested one also for evading. As we tried to arrest him, he took off running. We had to tackle him to the ground. Another one we had to arrest because he resisted. And we also arrested one for interfering with the duties of a public servant. In this case, this individual was arrested the first week of our operation. He got out of jail and he figured out what we were doing. So he found our ads and he started calling our undercover females and told them that he's going to disrupt our operation. So he continuously called, said he was going to come out there and interfere. So we figured out who he was, and we had to change our ads. We had to change our phone numbers. So he really did interfere with it. So he has a warrant for his arrest now for interfering. As you can see, what these numbers tell us, 103 arrests is really not a competition. It's an awareness thing. We do have a vice human trafficking problem in Harris County. We have it problem in the state of Texas, and we have it all over the nation. So this news conference actually brings awareness to this crime. This past summer, we did a similar operation for a month long, and we arrested 170 sex buyers. So we did a news conference then. This time we have 103. So we're hoping that awareness is getting out there, and maybe that is the reduction of our numbers. So I don't know, but, we can hope so. Also, as stated before, the Harris County Sheriff's Office arrested 433 sex buyers in 2017. Already we got over 100. So, and we're just getting started for this year. So we'll continue to do these operations throughout the year, probably smaller in number, but, we expect to arrest about the same amount, if not more. This should be a notice to the sex buyers out there that, you just may find your mugshot on the 5 o'clock news. So know that we are getting tough on enforcement and getting tough on prosecution. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Harris County DA's office, Chief Jonna Stallings.
Good morning. My name is Jonna Stallings. I'm the Chief Prosecutor of the Human Trafficking and Child Exploitation Divisions at the Harris County District Attorney's Office. I want to start off with noting that the United Nations estimated last summer that the net worth of human trafficking is $32 billion. That's with a B. The National Human Trafficking Hotline has issued statistics from 2016. They're working on 2017 right now. And Harris County, Houston, had more tips in 2016 than Chicago or New York or Los Angeles. We had over 400 victims described to the trafficking line, also beating those 3 other major cities in the United States. There is a reason, ladies and gentlemen, that prostitution is listed under human trafficking in the penal code by your state legislature. It is a crime in which we need to protect persons. Those persons are the prostitutes who have been historically arrested and sent to jail. They're also the same women, men, and children who have been previously sexually and physically abused and have determined that that is their lot in life. But we now have a mandate from Harris County District Attorney Kim Ogg to stop human trafficking. So we are partnering with law enforcement. We're partnering with non-governmental organizations. We're partnering with civilians to change this. And the first step towards changing this is our prosecution of the Johns, of the buyers, purveyors of sex who are willing to go out and break the law and pay money for sex. Pretrial diversion used to be the norm. Take a class and dismiss used to be the norm for buyers of sex. No longer. That will be an extreme exception. Now, Johns can expect offers of jail time and probation in an appropriate case. It's important to reduce demand. It is simple supply and demand. Through effective law enforcement, through prosecution, we can reduce demand. Sam Cooke sang a song several years ago. It's a long time coming, but I know change gonna come. Ladies and gentlemen, change is here. I believe that Houston is leading the nation in this change. You heard from law enforcement. They have told you their focus is on the Johns. And I've told you that our prosecution efforts have changed in how we view the John and what punishment will be appropriate and what will be offered. We have Project 180, which is a new program that we are partnering with the governor's office to save victims of prostitution, to give them a new lease on life without a criminal history, along with finding more traffickers and prosecuting more Johns. So the question is, will you be a part of the problem or a part of the solution? The solution involves change, and it involves focus. It involves civilian tips. When you see something, you should call the human trafficking hotline. When you are called to jury service, come down. We will be asking a lot of these cases be set for trial because the state is ready and we're ready to prosecute. Someone suggested that on Valentine's Day, a day of love, prostitution, Johns are all about looking for love in all the wrong places. I would submit to you, it's more about an imbalance of power, an unequal relationship. It's a relationship where the John is interested in power, control, and sex. I ask for you to help law enforcement to change this imbalance of power. The amazing police officers of the Harris County Sheriff's Office are working on this issue day and night. I know because I assist them and I see what they're doing, and they're doing an amazing job, as you can see on the wall behind me. So I look forward to this time of change and this time of partnership. I'd like to introduce Bo Abdullah, who is the director of Love People, Not Pixels. Thank you.
Thank you, Jonna. Good morning. Happy Valentine's Day. My name is Bo Abdullah. That's B-E-A-U-A-B-D-U-L-L-A. I'm the founder of Love People, Not Pixels, also known as LPNP, a local nonprofit established in 2016. Some of you may have seen us in similar press conferences last year under the name Voice for Choice, and we've rebranded to Love People, Not Pixels. I want to start by thanking the Harris County Sheriff's Office for taking a progressive approach in their work by inviting LPNP to offer much-needed social support services for arrested sex buyers. I realize that the concept of offering support services for sex buyers can be odd and even downright offensive to some people. However, we must tackle both supply and demand, as Jonna said. This city needs great services from The Landing, Rescue Houston, Elijah Rising, United Against Human Trafficking, Unbound Now, Free the Captives, and many others who work directly with the trafficked women, at times men, and exploited youth, to support, care, and love for them. We applaud our local law enforcement, the City of Houston, and the DA's office, who are dedicated to protecting victims and survivors of human trafficking. But as long as there is demand for humans to be purchased for sex, each time a person is rescued, another will simply just be put back in their place. Houston, we have a problem. The demand for sex services is at an all-time high. The recent #MeToo movement is indicative of a society whose men have lost control of their sexuality and see women as a simple means to satisfy their own hijacked and distorted sexual needs. These 103 men are just a small sample of the literally tens of thousands of men in our city who have trained, both consciously and unconsciously, their sexual arousal templates to seek, and in their minds actually require commercial sex as a normal and regular part of their lives. When you take the time to sit and speak with an arrested sex buyer, they often have a story that follows a classic escalation dynamic. It starts with them being immersed in a hypersexualized culture. From there, compulsive use and or addiction of pornography coupled with chronic self-stimulation becomes a normalized part of life. This leads many men down a road where they lose their identity and control of their sexuality. It takes some men, not all of them, to the point of doing things like purchasing sex. And they never thought they would ever do that. It's not uncommon for men that we work with to tell us, I don't know how I got to this point. Make no mistake, LPNP is not here to make excuses for these men. These 103 men broke the law. And these men are the faces of demand that drives the business of human trafficking today. These men need to face the consequences of their actions. However, by inviting LPNP to engage directly with arrested sex buyers, the Harris County Sheriff's Office and the DA's office recognize that there is much more going on here than a simple desire to pay for sex. LPNP fully supports the work of the Harris County Sheriff's Office and the Harris County DA. They are sending a clear message to the men of Houston. The next time you seek to purchase sex, your picture could be up here at the next press conference. As they look to suppress human trafficking and to reduce demand using a deterrent model, LPNP is fighting demand using an intervention model. The two go hand in hand and work beautifully together. During this particular initiative, out of the 103 men arrested, 52 men, or approximately 50%, agreed to speak with LPNP volunteers on site at the point of their arrest. Of those, 31 men, or approximately 33% of the total arrested men, voluntarily gave LPNP their contact information and communicated in some fashion that they wanted help. That's extraordinary. Think about that for a second. Why would someone just arrested for soliciting prostitution, who we don't have an agreement with them, we don't get lists, we don't even get their name. These men do not have to say anything to us. Over half of them are voluntarily giving their name and contact information because it's a cry for help. We have to remember that men's hearts are at the center of the human trafficking issue. So this is a call out to get involved. Do you want to help reach men's hearts? To defend love in this city? As citizens of Houston, we know this is a relational process, and LPNP is here to help you do that, to reach out, to defend the hearts of the men in your life that, for a lot of us, we don't want to think this, but there's a lot of men in our lives that aren't that far off from being where these 103 are. And it's going to take us stepping in with love and working and defending their hearts so they don't end up in this place. So next time it's not your dad or your brother or your coworker or your friend or your husband up on that wall. We all have a role to play. LPNP has a goal to train 1,000 defenders of love in the Houston area by the end of 2019. We're calling on the citizens of Houston to get informed, be engaged, and to defend love. For more information about becoming an LPNP defender and the other programs and services we offer, visit our website, www.lpnp.org. Connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Love People Not Pixels. I want to thank the Harris County Sheriff's Office for inviting LPNP to participate in this initiative, and we look forward to partnering with them on future operations. Next, I want to invite Dr. Robert Sanborn, CEO of Children at Risk.
Thanks, Bob. Morning. Happy Valentine's Day to everyone. I'm Bob Sanborn. I'm President and CEO of Children at Risk. It's a Valentine's Day for us, but for these 103 guys behind us and on the screen, it's a Valentine's Day massacre of sort, right? Because they have been sorted out. These are guys that have broken the law and that have sought to buy young women. And on this Valentine's Day, when we celebrate love, the Beatles said, you can't buy me love. But for these guys, they did feel like they could buy exploitation of young women. And so I want to thank the chief and all of the people that work with you, Chief, in regards to this, because this is a key part of ending demand in our city. How do we stop men from buying young women, young boys in many cases, in our city? A couple of weeks ago, one of my quotes was on the cover, the front page of the Houston Chronicle, where I talked about that we have more illicit brothels in our city than we have Starbucks. And that is sort of part of this demand. Why is it that we have so many illicit brothels? Why is it that Backpage.com is full of ads that are answered? Why is it that when we do a sting in our city, we're able to get 103 guys? It's because we have a very large demand. Men feel like in our city, in our county, that they could go out and buy young women. They feel no shame about this. But things are changing. As John had talked about, we have law enforcement in the DA's office, everyone acting to change that attitude. Sometimes people think that we are such a hub of trafficking because we're close to the border, because we have big highways. But it's all about demand. It's because we live in a place where men feel like they can buy young women. And that has to end. And that culture will end when families start talking to their boys about this is not right and this is the wrong thing to do. And that will end when they hear from leaders in our community that this is not the way to go. This is the wrong thing to do. This is something that we see all over our town, in all of our neighborhoods, and it's something that's going to have to change. And nonprofits in this city are fighting against trafficking, and law enforcement is leading in this fight against trafficking. And I think with all of us working together, I think we are going to make a dent in this. And on this Valentine's Day and future Valentine's Days, we'll be able to say that we really made a dent in trafficking, and we began to end the scourge of human trafficking in our city. And it will end, and it's a question of whether more men in our city are going to be arrested, because rest assured they will be arrested if they choose to buy young women. But we're going to do everything possible to make sure that that doesn't happen. So on this Valentine's Day, from Children at Risk, we love law enforcement and the work that they're doing. And we want to love all those human trafficking victims that are out there to let them know that we're working to make things right. Chief?
Thank you. Appreciate it. Let's say a few words in Spanish. Buenos días y muchas gracias por estar con nosotros hoy. Me llamo Edison Toquica y estamos hoy aquí para anunciar una operación que hicimos durante el mes pasado, donde comenzó en Cook County, Illinois, y nacionalmente, en un nivel nacionalmente, hubieron 638 arrestos. Estoy orgulloso de decir que 103 de esos arrestos fueron hechos aquí en el condado de Harris por la oficina de alguacil, aparte del alguacil Ed González. Nuestra unidad secreta fueron los que pudieron arrestar más de todos los 30 estados que estuvieron envueltos en esta operación. A este tiempo, sí tenemos un problema aquí, no nomás nacionalmente, pero en el condado de Harris. Es triste que alguien puede vender un humano por sexo. ¿Y el problema existe? Sí existe. Y estamos haciendo todo lo que podemos hacer todos los días para ser más fuerte contra operaciones o con operaciones como la que estamos haciendo. Y no nomás lo hacemos una vez al año en nivel nacional, lo hacemos todos los días. Y las personas que tenemos trabajando con nosotros hacen un trabajo excelente. Y le quiero dar gracias al mayor Tony Wynn, el capitán Jesse González, el teniente Ruben Díaz y la sargenta Sandra Chapa por hacer un trabajo que no ninguno lo puede hacer. Y ellos lo hacen todos los días y lo hacen orgullosamente, y muchas gracias a ellos. Esta operación pusimos páginas en las páginas web y el internet, y esperamos que las llamadas entraron las llamadas, textos, y cuando ellos pidieron de hablar en persona para hacer un negocio de sexo por dinero, fue cuando fueron arrestados. Y otra vez fue un total de 103 personas que fueron arrestadas. En el año 2014 arrestamos 146 personas por el mismo caso. El año pasado fueron 433. en un nivel nacional. Es un problema que es nacional, en un nivel nacional. El año pasado fue 32 billones de dólares que fueron hechos en bregando a vender o vendiendo humanos por sexo. No es un problema que no es nomás local, es nacional y estamos trabajando con todos que podamos, toda la gente que ven aquí, trabajamos con ellos todos los días para hacer el trabajo mejor y para hacer las comunidades que vivimos nosotros y donde nosotros, los niños de nosotros van a la escuela, que sean más positivo en todos los días lo que hacemos. Entonces, es un trabajo que no vamos a hacerlo nomás, como le digo, una vez al año. Es todos los días que trabajamos duro y queremos hacer una diferencia para la comunidad. Gracias. We can open it up for questions now.
I have a question. Some of these guys look pretty young. How youngest is your youngest offender? And is that a result of the places where you place the ads? Did you guys target any specific social media sites that maybe younger people frequent? So two questions there.
Not necessarily. No. We always get a range of ages. We really can't control that. So we use the popular media sites that prostitutes use. So we didn't target any age group.
How youngest is your youngest?
You know what? I do not know how young.
You don't know?
No, I don't know.
Is Backpage the primary site?
It is one of our primary sites. That's correct.
Are they using Twitter, Facebook?
They use all kinds of
Instagram?
sites. Yes, sir.
Why are you guys going after them now? You say that there's a problem, there's been a problem. Why is this big effort happening now rather than happening earlier when y'all first started seeing the signs of this being a problem in our city? Why is it just now ramping up now?
We started really ramping up last year. So it's just a different focus, just like anything, you got a supply and demand, where are you going to put your resources? Obviously, the demand drives this crime. So, let's see what we get out of it. We want to end this, and it hadn't been working the other way. So, we're going to focus on the demand.
All different professions, I'm guessing, these offenders. Any specific ones to note? Any doctors, attorneys, any one specific?
Not on this round, and if there was, we would have let you know that.
Any news reporters?
No, not this time.
I'm married, thank you.
It's a room full of easy laughs here. Come on.
Many of
So are the
these.
majority of those guys.
That's
Okay,
correct.
talk about that.
Yeah.
That's
This
correct.
Valentine's Day.
We do get a lot of married men doing this. Yeah, as a matter of fact, the majority of them are, and we can see the look on their face when we arrest them. I mean, it's just total. Their life is changing from this point on. So now we do get some repeated offenders that just don't care, but the majority of these, they know that they messed up and they're going to have to pay the price.
Detective, estamos en vivo en español para Telemundo.
Sí.
Muchas personas en el condado Harrison han puesto quejas acerca de los negocios, los hoteles. Usted habla de 9 hoteles que supuestamente servían de encuentro con estas personas. Muchos negocios saben aparentemente que estas actividades están ocurriendo en sus negocios y no se les hace nada a esos negocios. Muchos residentes se preocupan de que la policía está atrás ellos, más no los negocios. ¿Qué tiene que decir a eso?
Bueno, sí estamos detrás de los negocios, trabajamos diligentemente todos los días, agregando a traer estos negocios a justicia. Pero lo que referí fue que fueron 9 hoteles que usamos nosotros para bregar para capturar los 103 que arrestamos. Pero sí, es cierto que es el problema de que hay muchos negocios que están usando estos y esa parte está en corte civil ahora. Pero nosotros como law enforcement sí estamos haciendo todo lo que podemos para ir detrás de negocios. Ahora tenemos una unidad que se llama el abatement unit, que ellos nomás hacen eso todos los días. Y trabajamos con la oficina fiscal y juntos trabajamos todos los días para llegar a cerrar estos negocios. Okay.
Tengo una pregunta. ¿En qué zonas de la ciudad utilizaron estos hoteles? Y específicamente de estos detenidos, ¿cuántos son afroamericanos?
Bueno, de eso exactamente no lo tengo ahora, pero sí se lo puedo dar. Los hoteles, los 9 que usamos, fueron usados en todas las partes del condado. Okay.
How many of these were repeat offenders?
Do you know how many?
I don't, we hadn't studied all of that yet, but we know of one. But we do get repeat offenders almost every operation we do.
How do you prevent these repeat offenders from, I don't know, being caught in another state? Like, is there, I don't know if the DAs DAs are pursuing like higher bonds or?
Well, I mean, that's a question of the DA's office, but I'm sure repeat offenders do have higher bonds and.
A repeat offender should have a higher bond because of criminal history, as well as being treated differently when part of the evaluation whenever an offer is made during the plea bargaining process should be evaluating criminal history. Has a person done this before? Have they been doing it around the time of the arrest, or how many times in the past year, whatever evidence we're able to gather, and we will be attempting to gather that so that way we can make a good judgment on what the offer should be in order to deter that person from engaging in that same behavior again, as well as others.
There is a significant group of guys that call themselves hobbyists, that they are continuing repeaters, right? These are men that will continually repeat. So there is a group of people, and many times the sting you get a significant portion of those guys.
Correct.
¿Quiere decir algo en español usted?
Sí, sí. ¿Tienes una pregunta?
La pregunta acerca de el problema del tráfico humano. Estas
Sí.
mujeres, usted se refiere a ellas como jóvenes.
Sí. Es un mixo de jóvenes bajo de la edad de 18 años, pero también en los años de 20, 22. Pero es un grupo grande y la mayoría son jóvenes. En algunos son bajo de 18 que están en este negocio, en este crimen del tráfico humano. Y era una pregunta sobre los negocios. Y tenemos nuevas leyes en nuestro estado donde podemos ir contra los negocios para que ellos podamos parar lo que está pasando en esos negocios. A este año, la mayoría de los arrestos son sobre los víctimas de tráfico, pero ahora podemos ir contra los Johns, los que compran, pero también sobre los negocios también.
Can you tell
That was
us
my
how
Spanish.
young
Okay.
the undercover officers were posing as? How young of women they were posing as? Was it, teenagers?
Well,
Was it
no,
older
I'm not going
women?
to go into that, but we're really just targeting anyone. So our ads, I'm not going to go into the details of that, but we get a range of defendants that come, and when we place an ad, it's the offenders that actually contact us through these ads. Then they hold a conversation, so they're making all the steps to make this happen. So as far as we don't control who calls us, and we just put the ads out there.
Right. The reason why I ask is, would they get a higher charge if they were going after and trying to have sex with a younger?
Absolutely, but that's a different operation, and we've done those before, where we do pose as juveniles.
Well, I have a question about that individual that you mentioned that he had found out about your operation and he tried to boycott it, or I don't know if that's what I understood.
Tried to run?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
No. The one that we arrested the week of the operation, and then he
How did
contacted.
you find out about your sting?
You know what? He knew because we arrested him, so he kind of figured that this was going on. So he was perusing the ads and figured out which ad we were using, and then started contacting us, knowing it was us on the other end.
Which motel was the rendezvous?
I'm not going to give that. These hotels are our partners, and obviously, we really don't want to call them out on that.
One last question.
is there going to have to be, due to this individual who is trying to subvert your operation, is that going to probably mean you're going to have to change some of your operational tactics in the future? Because then maybe these people are going to start trying to say, okay, look for this, look for that.
Not really. I mean, if this continues to happen, obviously we need to change, but we really hadn't encountered too much of this type of behavior before, so hopefully not.
Thank you, everyone.